Good morning, friends. Today is early Sunday morning, May 27th, 2018. I want to say welcome to all my new viewers and to all of those who keep coming back. Thank you for all your kind comments. I'm glad you came back for another visit. Today, I'm going to be talking about week 3 of Stitch Mania. But before we get into that, I would like to show you what I have purchased recently and some not so recently, and I just haven't ever shared them before. First off, I was watching Bendy Stitchy and I could not help myself. I had to go over to the Imperfectly Stitchers Etsy store and purchase the Alzheimer's needle minder, and that's the one I chose. And Heather was so kind, she sent this extra one. Thank you, Heather. I love them both and cannot wait to put them on a project. So that is the TheIPSNeedlMinders on Etsy. I also, while on Etsy, can't help myself, found a couple from MadForMinders, this one and the coffee one, and she sent me this cute little toadstool one. So thank you, Daz, for such great service. And of course my favorite Etsy shop, JensStitchingNiche. I purchased the cards from Birds of a Feather, and actually it's amazing. Out of the 8 cards, I have stitched 2 of these patterns, and I own 2 more, I believe. So half, maybe 3 more. But those are cute. So those will be going out in some stitchy love in the not too distant future. I also purchased the red basket of red, white, and blue from Shakespeare's Peddler, and I got that in kit. And as soon as Mania is over, that will be a new start. And then I purchased part 4 of the Ginny Bean sampler. What's it called? For the parlor, part 4. And I think I will probably wait for all the parts to come out before I start on that one. And Jen, thank you so much. She was so lovely. Always quick service. She picked this up for me and sent that as a gift. I love it. Can't wait to use it. And then she sent me a waxer from her bee keeping. Thank you, Jen. I love it. And also, speaking of Jen, of JensStitchingNiche, she had shown this one as one of her Mania pieces, and I fell in love with it, and I immediately went to search it out. And it is from Threadwork Primitives, a Bee Gathering. Beautiful piece. So I cannot wait to start on that one. And I found that on an Etsy shop as well, but I can't remember which one. I know it's something like TheCrossIBare. So go check her out. And then on Stash Unload, my last purchase was from Homespun Elegance. I've been wanting these for a long time. I've seen them come and go. I keep passing them up, and this time I said, no, I'm going to get them. The first one is called the Stitcher. And the Stitcher 2. So I'm so happy to have these in my stash. And this one is even signed. by Sandra. So I'm lucky. I feel very lucky to have those. Also, a couple of things that I purchased a while back and I just kept forgetting to show them. We have a local flea market that I like to go to. I have to stay away from there. I spend hours, I get lost in there. But I found these two metal lids. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them, but I immediately thought pincushion. I don't know, we will see. But this is the first one. And of course, because it has coffee on it, I was immediately drawn to it. And then the larger one looks like this. I don't know, just interesting. I have no idea what I'll do with them, like I said, but I'll have to put my thinking cap on for those. Also, I picked up a couple of these, and the minute I saw them, I thought of Priscilla. And it's a chalkboard, but I'm sure there's something I can find to fit in there. I just thought it was cute. So that's it for my acquisitions. Okay, so we last left off on May 20th. So on the 21st, I started from Heartstring Samplery, the Queen Bee Pincushion. And I'm stitching this on 36 count Legacy, 1/2, using the call for threads, which are Gentle Arts, Weeks, and Classic Colorworks. She always includes a cute little write-up too. Not really sure what happened that day, but I did not get very far. But once I get back to it, I think it will be a quick stitch and a quick finish. And I do plan on finishing it similar to what is shown in the picture. So that was a Queen Bee Pincushion. Then on the 22nd, I started Live Simply with Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. I'm stitching this on 35 count espresso, which is by R&R. And because I am a glutton for punishment, I am going ahead and stitching it over 1. And that's how far I got. One of the things that I love about R&R, and this I did not purchase at R&R. I purchased this probably from Jen. But on their normal tags, when you buy it in store, they put the tag on and they write on it for you what project it is for. And that way, if you don't start stitching on that project right away when you're digging through your fabric stash, you know exactly why you bought that fabric. Because believe me, I have plenty of pieces of fabric in my stash that I'm like, I know I bought this for something. What was it? Okay. On the 23rd, I pulled out one from Stitch Maynia 2017 called In Santa Claus Land, and that is what it looks like when it's finished. This is also from With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And when you last saw it, I was working down here on his legs. I finished those up in his little boots, and I got started on the reindeer. And I'm stitching this one on a 40 count 1/2, which is a hand-dyed fiber by Vicki Clayton. And I think I over-dyed it with something. And I'm using the Call for Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Arts, Classic Colorworks. So all of these I did have a hard time putting down. It just, the thing I like about having some of my previous projects on Stitch Maynia is it reminds me of how much I love them, how much I want to stitch on them, get them finished. Okay, day 24 was another previous Stitch Maynia, and it is Honeyberry by Erica Michaels. And I'm stitching this on the 40 count silk gauze 1/1. And using the call for threads, which are DMC, Gentle Arts, and Week Side Works. And I'll put this behind it so you can see. I came on around here to work on the honeycomb. I'm not sure I ever want to see another road stitch, but unfortunately I will have to because I do not have that honeycomb finished yet. Not that I mind doing them, it's just I think they're boring. I don't know. Maybe if there weren't so many, but this thing is packed full of those. So we'll see. That one is slow going, but I do enjoy it. Then on the 25th, I started and finished Farm Fresh, which was a free pattern when you purchased the kit, the threads, and I finished it. I used the call for threads, and the fabric that I did this on is a 32 count Twilight Blue. I don't know who this is by. This was the original color, and I overdyed it with walnut crystals. Because when you look at the printed version here, it looks very light, but when you go online and look on her website, it is a darker color, and she stitched it on a tin roof. But that doesn't, I mean, that looks more blue than gray on here. But anyway, I cannot wait to fully finish this. It was a cute, quick little stitch. And I have the pins for that somewhere in my stash that came with it. That's it. You got the chart free when you purchased the Just Pens. That's how it worked. Too many things going around in my head. And I used the Classic Colorworks and Gentle Art for that. Okay, and on the 26th, my son and I went down south to my parents' house to continue the clean out of their house. They lived in that house for over 50 years, and they never threw anything away. So it's a huge task, and not to mention the outbuildings that we have to clear out. So my son drove, so on the way down there, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stitch while you're driving. So I started and I finished The Gift is Small, which is from Blackbird Designs, out of their new book called Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day. And let's see if I can find it in here. This is what it will look like when it's fully finished. If you recall, a previous Maynia start is this one, and I happen to be doing it on the same piece of fabric. I channeled my inner Chelsea on this one, and because it was a 2.5 hour drive and I got to stitch the whole way, I finished it, and I used the call for fibers, which were Gentle Arts, and I'm stitching this on 32 count Winter Sprue 1/2. So that's all of my Maynia pieces for this week. I'm not sure when I'll get to upload this. I've got a crazy busy week ahead. But in my next video, I will do the final 5 of Stitch Maynia. I'm looking forward to that. I think I have Let Freedom Ring. I have My Hometown. I think I have a Not Forgotten Farm. And 2 more. What were the other 2? Can't remember. But it has been a fun week. I didn't want to stop stitching on any of these, but I also wanted to continue on to the next project. So it's going to be interesting after Maynia finishes this year, because I have thoroughly enjoyed working on each and every piece, and can't wait to get back to them. But I also miss some of my old pieces, like And a Four Screw. Cannot wait to get back to that. His Eyes on the Sparrow. I would love to see a finish this year on that. We'll see. And I've missed sewing, so I want to get back to sewing too. So while I've enjoyed Maynia, I am looking forward to the end, so that I feel like I have a little bit more time to do other things. So that's going to wrap it up. Thank you all for watching. I hope your stitching week is going well, and until next time, happy stitching.